Whoever loves me will keep my word. Jesus is looking for people who will keep his word. He's looking for hearts in which his word will be kept. Hearts where his word will be remembered and cherished. Where his word will be honored and safely guarded. Where his word will be reverenced and treasured. Where his word will be observed and respected. This afternoon, May 24th, 2025, Jesus is wondering, Jesus is asking, Jesus is looking, Jesus is hoping that we, you and I, might be the people who keep his word. That our hearts might be the hearts where his word is faithfully kept. He's looking at you and at me. And you know what? He's not the only one looking to us for that. Many people give us their word to keep. Friends, siblings, parents, spouses, children, neighbors, colleagues. They give us their word of friendship, their word of love, their word of trust, their word of pledge and promise. These are people looking for hearts where they can speak and share and entrust their word without fear of ridicule or rejection, without fear of not being heard. People looking for hearts where their word will be respected and reverenced. You and I do the same thing. We look for hearts, open and willing hearts, ready to receive and keep our word. We do this because the giving and receiving of one's word creates bonds of friendship, safety, intimacy, and love. And for just those reasons, Jesus searches our hearts this afternoon, looking for hearts to receive and keep his word, that we might know his friendship, the safety of his grace, the intimacy of his presence, and the gift of his love. Keeping someone's word in my heart isn't always easy. In fact, it's often difficult. Keeping another's word requires attentiveness, care, affection. It demands vigilance, trust, and loyalty. It requires integrity and a strength that is gentle and a tenderness that is robust. To keep someone's word in my heart is to be attuned, attentive to, aware of its presence there all the time. To keep another's word is to listen to it carefully and to respond to it faithfully. And so to be faithful to the one who entrusted my heart with a word to keep. When I keep a word entrusted to my heart, there is joy for me that someone has so trusted me, and joy for the one who has found someone to trust. When I fail in keeping another's word, there is sadness and hurt and disappointment. I break the bond shared by the word which was given me. I weaken the spirit of the bond that was created. When you say yes to keeping someone's word in your heart, and certainly when you say yes to keeping the Lord's word in your heart, you never know how or when it will call on you. When you keep someone else's word in your heart, you never know what it might ask of you, expect of you. When you keep someone else's word in your heart, you don't know where it might lead you. You don't know how it might and probably will change you. Hearts that keep the word of others, certainly hearts that keep the Lord's word, are hearts doing what hearts are meant to do. Hearts doing what hearts are created to do. Such are the hearts that we all seek among our families and friends for the safekeeping of a word that we want to share, that we want to give, that we hope another will keep for us. So I might ask myself then, and you might ask yourself, what word of mine have I entrusted to the heart of Jesus for safekeeping? What word of mine have I entrusted to the heart of Jesus for safekeeping? And what word of his has he asked me and you to keep in our hearts? Jesus shares many words with us, but the primary word he asks all of us to keep is his word of love. A word calling us to put him and others and their needs ahead of ourselves and our needs. The word Jesus asks us to keep in our hearts is as demanding as it is precious. It's as stern as it is gentle. And usually, hopefully in equal amounts, the word Jesus entrusts to us may be as much a burden to carry as it is a joy to hold. Jesus promises that those who keep his word will find that their hearts become a home, a dwelling place for the presence of God. And where God is present, in that place there will always be peace. He told us in the gospel, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you." The peace he gives to those who keep his word. And he tells us that the peace he promises us, the peace he gives us, is not the world's peace. His peace is not simply the absence of conflict. His peace is the fullness of his presence, a presence of trust and strength, of vision and of hope so great that no conflict or fear can overwhelm it. The peace that the world would like to give us is the peace that takes conflict away. But the peace that Jesus offers us doesn't take away our problems. Rather, the peace Jesus gives us is a peace that helps us live with our problems, work through our problems, carry our problems, survive our problems, because in spite of our problems, there is in our hearts the word of the peace of Jesus, the word he has asked us to keep. His peace dwells in the hearts of those who hear and keep his word. In the conflicts and troubles and worries that crowd and burden our hearts, it's this kind of peace that we all long for. And the good news is this: the very kind of peace you and I long for is the very kind of peace Jesus desires to give us. The very kind of peace Jesus desires us to have, wants us to have. If we keep his word, we'll find and have and keep that peace. And he will make his home in our hearts and be our peace in and through our troubles and fears. If we keep the Lord's word will keep us. In our prayer today, in the Gospel, Jesus spoke and invited us to keep his word. In the sacrament of this table, he will come to dwell among us when we receive into our bodies and into our hearts his presence and his peace in communion in the Eucharist. May we keep the word we have heard. May that word find a dwelling place in our hearts. And may that same word bring us his peace.